Hello, my name is Dean Ainsworth, and this presentation examines the importance of selecting a strong theoretical framework for a research project. My proposed capstone topic focuses on leadership accountability, organizational learning, and contractor government decision-making in complex defense acquisition and aviation sustainment environments, with the KC-46A program serving as an important practical context. The purpose of this presentation is to define what a theoretical framework is, explain why systems theory is a strong fit, address its limitations, and conclude with how this framework shapes a solution-oriented study. A theoretical framework is the scholarly lens that guides how a researcher understands a problem, asks research questions, selects data, interprets findings, and connects the study to existing knowledge. It is not simply a theory added after the fact. Instead, it functions as the intellectual structure of the study. The theoretical framework I find most relevant to my proposed capstone is systems theory, which examines organizations as interconnected systems of people, processes, and technology. Von Bertalanffy's general systems theory emphasized studying wholes rather than isolated parts. In defense acquisition, outcomes emerge from the interaction of many connected parts. Systems theory allows me to examine the KC-46A program as more than an aircraft procurement issue. It is a complex system involving engineering, contract structures, and leadership accountability. GAO reporting documented critical deficiencies, including remote vision system challenges. Systems theory helps examine how these issues interact, rather than treating them as isolated events. Systems theory aligns with my mixed methods approach. Quantitative data identifies measurable outcomes, while qualitative data explains how stakeholders perceive communication and accountability. As Cresswell and Plano-Clark emphasize, combining both types of evidence provides a stronger understanding. Numbers show where problems appear. Qualitative evidence helps explain why they persist. My capstone is focused on preventing repeated leadership and acquisition failures. Systems theory encourages asking questions about relationships, dependencies, and unintended consequences. A technical deficiency may seem isolated, but a systems perspective asks if schedule pressure, contract incentives, or communication barriers contributed to the issue. Defense acquisition resembles high reliability settings. Principles like sensitivity to operations and deference to expertise are critical when decisions affect mission capability and aircrew safety. Learning organizations improve by recognizing systemic causes rather than reacting to symptoms. The goal is to identify patterns of communication and risk escalation to avoid repeating past errors. First, complex program outcomes require a framework that addresses nonlinear processes involving contractors, government, and strategic requirements. Second, systems theory supports action research, helping identify leverage points like risk review gates and feedback loops to create practical solutions. Third, it maintains a professional tone. Systems theory helps us examine organizational conditions and incentives rather than attacking individuals. Fourth, it connects to psychological safety. Edmondson found that the ability to report concerns is a critical part of system performance. Finally, systems theory is validated by its fit with high reliability literature, showing how small failures can create larger consequences elsewhere. Despite its strengths, systems theory can be broad. To prevent the study from becoming too large, I will define clear boundaries, focusing on accountability and communication. A second limitation is that it can make responsibility seem diffuse. I will pair systems theory with ethical leadership to ensure we recognize how individual decisions shape the culture. Systems theory alone may not fully explain power and financial incentives. I will use supporting concepts from organizational culture and high reliability theory to interpret these complexities. Finally, systems theory may make simple causal claims difficult. A mixed methods design is appropriate here to develop a credible, evidence-informed understanding for practical improvement. In conclusion, systems theory is the best primary framework for this capstone because it fits the complexity of defense acquisition and aviation sustainment. It allows the KC-46A program to be examined as an interconnected leadership system rather than a single failure. It connects measurable indicators with qualitative evidence for learning. My capstone is ultimately solution-oriented. The goal is to develop a practical framework that helps future leaders identify risks earlier and elevate concerns more honestly. This framework is not just an academic requirement. It is the foundation for turning a real organizational problem into a disciplined path toward improvement. Thank you.